the city of Detroit. Do you have any opinions about Hillary Clinton and now the Donald still being the Democrat and Republican nominees, respectively? It seems like so much is happening. So many people now are bowing out of the race of support. Did you see the other day that Pence, who is the vice presidential candidate with Donald Trump, has now endorsed Paul Ryan? Of course, Donald Trump would not endorse Paul Ryan. Do you see that as an act of defiance? If you already have division within your immediate, I guess, party, what will that look like for you as leadership for this great nation? Are you thinking about that? Do you have any opinions about President Obama and his commutations? You know, he's commuted 4 Michiganders for their prison sentences. We're going to talk about that, put that out there. You know, his total is 214. That is the most any president has commuted in sentencing in term. What do you have to say about that? Do you have an opinion? Is that important? Some people are saying, well, what about Kwame? Is he going to commute Kwame? Can he commute Kwame's sentence? Well, no, he hasn't had. It's my understanding that you have to have at least 5 years in the system for before there's any consideration for that, and so Kwame does not meet that. But aside from it, would you have liked to see that happen? Would you have liked him to come home, welcome him home with open arms? Love to know if you have an opinion about that. We're going to talk, of course, about Flint. You know, there's an article, and the state is saying that when the federal aid is depleted, they will come into Flint. What do you think about that? Have we just forgotten about Flint? You know, the pipes aren't fixed in Flint. You know that they're still depending on the kindness of others to give water. And I have to just give a shout out because he doesn't do this for notoriety. But Rasheed Wallace brought a group in secretly to Flint and handed out water this past weekend. So shout out to Sheed, man. You're amazing. Had the pleasure of having him as a client. And he's an amazing man. And it was below the radar. No one knew about it. But there are individuals like himself who are doing things that, you know, I'm going to do them because it's right. I don't need the cameras in my face. I'm going to give because I should give, and that's what I should do. We're going to talk about the Olympics in Rio. Would you go? Are you afraid? Everyone's talking about viruses. What does this look like? Would you go to the Olympics? Have we not heard that much about it because people are a little afraid of what it looks like? You know, individuals have said, don't go in the water. Reports have said, if you go to Rio, don't go in the water. Be careful about using the water. What do you think about that? And then I'm going to conclude with a conversation. Chuck D thinks rage is good for America. You remember Chuck D? Our own public enemy Chuck D, fight the power. He thinks that rage is good for America. Gave a great piece in the New York Times, and we're going to talk about that. And, of course, most importantly, Gina Harper Kirtland is here. You know, we're on countdown mode. I'm looking at the watch. We're on countdown mode for top 10 internet dating tips. And I got an article that we're going to talk about that you need to pay attention to because you don't want your online dating experience to go like this. That's why you're going to need to heed the word in this wonderful ebook that's counting down. She's going to give the hours for us because we're excited about it. You see me looking at the watch. I'm looking at the watch because, you know, it's important to be able to give you information that you need. You can't tell me that people aren't dating online. We're no longer walking past an individual on the street and saying hi. You don't meet individuals by referrals from friends anymore. They're not introducing them at your church functions anymore. The singles ministry is just that, the singles ministry. So everyone is going now online. No matter what your age group is, you're going online to get a date. Ah, yeah, you are. So you need to know what this young lady has done to snag her husband. She met her husband online, and now they're married. Did you get that? She met him. Well, okay. They weren't married when they met. This is not that website. But they met, and then she had these tips now, and now she's Miss Kirkland. He put a ring on it. I'm just saying, so you got to hear it out. You know what, caller, hold on. I see you. I'm going to go into a break because we're coming into the 15. And then when we get back, we'll have Miss Gina Harper Kirtland. And of course, I'll be sitting in. And then we'll have you. And we'll begin the detailed conversation this morning with our coffee. So stay tuned and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Call your friends and tell them, tune in. This is a conversation you don't want to miss. We'll be right back. Great morning, great morning. We're back. Thank you so much for holding on throughout the break because you knew that it would be worth your while. So, good morning to you. I am Collett Ramsey, and it's a pleasure to sit in with you on WHPR TV 33 Coffee and Conversation. And I say a great morning to my parents. You know, parents are everything. They teach you, they shape, mold you, create the positioning for you in your life, your thought process, how you deal with situations. True. So, great morning, mom and dad. Dad, I got your text this morning. Thank you so much. And good morning to you guys. I love you all.